welcome into another episode of Southern Section this week. I'm Claudette Montana.
And I'm Connor Morissette. It's basketball season, so we're at the swim gym because Beverly Hills High School is hosting their annual boys basketball tournament. We're going to have a ton of content from this great event, as well as a state football championship preview because St. John Bosco, the Southern Section Division I champs, they're playing Serra San Mateo on Saturday at Saddleback College. So I spoke with one of my coworkers, Mitch Stevens, who's up in Northern California, about that game. So excited to share.
Very excited to see that. And right behind us, we got Windward taking on Long Beach Poly. We will have full highlights of that game for you during the show and also post-game interviews. So let's start with that and roll the tape. Windward sophomore Gavin Hightower after win over Long Beach Poly. First question for you, plain and simple, how did it feel to get the win tonight?
It was good. You know, my team had a really good game plan coming into the game. We just had to execute, play defense, and stop their best players from scoring, and everything else was going to fall into place.
You guys had a lead heading into the second half and just kind of took it from there. What was working for you tonight?
It was our defense and just executing and talking as a team, because when we communicate, everything works out. So it's just communicating and playing defense for us.
It's early in the season. How do you feel like things are going so far?
As a team, I feel like we've been building every day and just listening to our coach, because we're still a young team, but we don't want to be like that. We want to be a team that can win already. You know, individually, I've just been continuing to work and play defense and work on my skill to help my team out.
You mentioned that you're a young team. You also have a new head coach this season. How has it been working with him?
It's been great. You know, he understands what we need to do to win, and he's played at a high level before, so just having him there and his experience really helps us out, and everybody listens, so it's all worked out for us.
Thanks so much, and great game.
Thank you, thank you.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
Here with St. Monica head coach Roy Walker. Coach, you guys got a big win at the Beverly Hills tournament over Washington Prep. What are your emotions? How are you feeling walking off the court after a nice win?
Just really happy, elated, that my guys stuck to it. We had a lull in that third quarter, But, we fought through it, and, we stayed together. Our point guard, Daniel Kirikoshi, he was amazing. Kept us settled, got us good shots, and, eventually they started falling down.
Tell me a little bit about this year's team. Who are some guys you lean on, have high expectations for?
Muhammad Kanji, ranked number 10, sophomore in California. Luke Johnson, who was a transfer. Anthony Fats Ivy, who was a transfer from Cleveland. So we're just, trying to mesh well, and trying to get a gel for ourselves, amongst ourselves, and trying to get it going into Christmas and toward the New Year.
In St. Monica, they play in a lot of these tournaments. You trying to play against the best competition. What's that like to prepare your group for a league and then a playoff run?
Just because I'm new, it's a change of the culture. I've always been a guy that I don't mind who I play. I don't care who I play, and I think iron sharpens iron. So we'd like to find the best competition and play against the best competition.
Your second year at St. Monica, what's it been like establishing the culture, and what are you trying to implement with these players? What do you want to have them understand that you're going to try to coach them every week?
That when we walk in the gym, people know that if they win, it's not going to be easy to win, and if they lose, it's always a chance for them to lose. And understanding that, walking around with a sense of pride and, wearing that green and gold is something that, we hold high, and just trying to get it back to the prominence it once was in the 80s.
What are your goals for this season? It sounds like that's one of them, getting this team back where they were.
Getting them back in the thing. I mean, it's not championship or bust for us, and of course, you play to win championships. And my teams usually get going around February, March, and we get our gears going. It's like you said, just building a culture, letting people know that we're going to be a staple in high school California basketball, and hopefully around the country.
Last thing for you, I was at Harvard Westlake last week. I asked Coach Rabibo, fill in the blank. A good season looks like blank. So I'll ask you, Coach Walker, a good season for St. Monica looks like?
A good season is just our kids loving each other. I don't weigh anything on wins and losses. Just knowing that, when my guys are with each other off the basketball court, they're smiling. They're not distant from each other. It's not 5 guys over there and 4 guys over there, that they're all sitting down as a unit. They like to do things outside of basketball and understand that we're a family, and we're trying to build that family unit and that family chemistry.
Great. Coach, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
That will do it for boys basketball content this week, but I'm here at Mira Costa High School for an early season girls basketball tournament where a little earlier on, Peninsula took down Sarah Gardena. We have full highlights from the game. Let's roll the tape.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Time for another segment of Ask the Expert with Mitch Stevens. Mitch, you've been on here before. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk about the Open Division State Championship game between St. John Bosco and Serra San Mateo. I think you're one of the only people who have seen both of these two teams live, so I value your opinion on breaking down this game, and thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm not super comfortable with the old expert, but I guess compared to, how many people are into high school sports as deeply as we are. So, no, pleasure to do it, to be here and happy to do it.
And for Southern section this week, I think you'll give a really valuable input because a lot of people don't know a ton about Serra, of course, because it's the North against the South in the state championship. And they might know Serra Gardena, of course, but not the Serra San Mateo. So last year, Mitch, Serra came down and they played in this open game and they were beaten by Mater Dei, a really good Mater Dei team. It was not that close. 44-7, I believe, was the final. Can you talk me through whether you think there's a chance it's closer this year? Do you see Bosco winning by a similar margin? Just initially, fans might have seen that game last year and thought, okay, this will just be an easy win for St. John Bosco. How do you see this game on Saturday night?
Yeah. I don't want to squash everybody and go, it's going to be the same. I mean, on paper, it looks pretty much the same, a little different. I actually think Serra's defense is definitely better. It's one of the all-time best coming out of the Central Coast section and maybe even the Bay Area. And that's because they're Patrick Walsh, the coach, has told me that all these like 7 of his players on defense are sons of coaches. So, they come from a long line of football, so they know the game, and they're obviously they're super fast, and they rally the ball. So I think in that sense, the offense, I'm not sure that's any better than last year, but I think the defense will keep it a little closer. I made a prediction of 28-10. So that was, and I hope that wasn't a spoiler. You're going to ask me at the end here, but I think they can. And, there's a spirit about this team. I mean, every team has a spirit, but this squad is particularly close. They're 13-0. Nobody has really touched them here in Northern California, which is really unusual. They play in the West Catholic League, which is the Northern California version of the Trinity League. Not as many athletes, et cetera, but and they just rolled through it, no problem. And obviously they're battle tested in some very tough games with Folsom and De La Salle. So I just expect maybe a little bit lower scoring game. And with that, and maybe the weather, I guess we're hearing now there's going to be rain. So I think that puts Serra more in the game this year.
You wrote a great piece after interviewing Stephen Lowe, the St. John Bosco offensive coordinator, who is, I think, spent 5 years at St. John Bosco and 5 years at Serra San Mateo. What did you learn from that conversation? And if you would like to read that piece for yourself, scorebooklive.com/California. I highly recommend it. It's so interesting to get a coach's perspective who spent time at both schools.
Yeah. Well, I knew Stephen a little bit when he was up here, not only had a few conversations, but talking again to Coach Walsh, he talked about what a beloved figure he was in San Mateo, and he is at St. John Bosco. He's just got one of those personalities. He's not no big ego, and he what I gleaned from it is he's just beloved at both places. The first question I asked him was, is he conflicted in any way? I mean, he obviously has deep ties. He's the crux of it is that he's a loyal Bay Area guy. He was raised there, he coached there. I went to San Jose State and was a coach, an assistant there. And then Gilroy High School. He went to St. Francis, and then came for 1 year, and then went to Sarah. So his loyalties are deep in the Bay Area, but his loyalty is obviously to St. John Bosco. There's no getting around that. But he will be he'll do a great job with this game, and but he knows the game inside out. He knows these programs inside out. So it was very interesting and fun to talk to him, and you can just tell he's a very balanced guy. Talked at great length we talked about the rivalry with Mater Dei, about losing the first game and how absolutely sweet it was to win the second one. That was very much a low point. The first game they lost to Mater Dei, the offense scored 7 points. It was all on the offense, and he's the offensive coordinator. So he just talked about the depths of, getting up that morning after, and all the things they preach to those guys, to players. They had to do it as coaches and go get up, and they have 7 straight wins, I believe, and they obviously got a little redemption.
Last question for you, Mitch. So I know the Sarah quarterback, Milwaukee Smith, is a really talented kid. Who are some other players on Sarah who the St. John Bosco fans will want to know heading into this matchup? Who are some of their top players?
One kid that really gets to know is Jaden Weber. He's a wideout. Every game I've been to and seen, he makes big plays. He's a wideout, and he's Smith's number one target, but also at the other, he's got a tight end that's just very outstanding and makes big plays. And the guy that I really like on the team is Jabari Mann. He plays linebacker, also runs the ball. He was kind of forced into playing more running back when their top running back or starting running back, Lucas Schumacher, got injured the very first game of the year and is out for the year. Him and Joseph Bay, the safety. These are all juniors. They're junior class, and so is Smith. Their junior class is absolutely stacked, and that's their best. But the Jabari and Bay, they kind of epitomize this toughness and smartness. There's a good word. And look out for those guys. They're exceptional all around football players. And that's a theme for all this. These guys are all around really sound athletic players.
I believe Bay had a vicious hit last year against one of the Mater Dei receivers. And I remember thinking, okay, the game might be out of hand, but these guys are still giving it all they have, and they're not just going to roll over. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was him.
That was him, yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest hits I'd seen all year. So St. John Bosco fans, look out for him as a safety. He is the real deal.
Yeah, they are, and they will not roll over. This team is they'll continue to fight, and Stephen Lowe backed that up as well. He knows it's going to be a fight.
Thank you so much, Mitch, for joining me to preview the Open Division State Football Championship game. That segment got me in the football mood, so let's close out the show with the top 10 Southern Section high school football plays of the season, courtesy of our friends from Valley Sports.
Bennett, deep, corner, intercepted by the Seraphs. That is number 22, Drew Cofield. His 4th interception of the season.
Just threw this ball too high. And look at Vermont right there while getting blocked. Able to make the catch. Huge turnover for Vermont and Chaminade in prime.
And 3 on defense. O'Neal, that was almost a pick six by Davis. Oh, and it winds up being a pick by Xavier Brown, and he returns it. No whistle. whistle, they signal touchdown.
Johnson back to pass. The ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Sarah. I believe that's Tanu Sosa. And that's going to be a pick six to end the ball game.
Plus territory at the 24.
Marco Coleman played. Let's see. That was unbelievable. Anna Joey, top 10 play of the week right there. I mean, that was unbelievable.
He's like, I'm going to try and knock it down and grab it all at the same time, like Dikembe Mutombo taking it. They rush four, stepping up is Brown, throwing for the end zone, a diving catch for the touchdown. It's Marcus Harris.
Marcus Harris does that.
Counter back to Turner this way. He's got some speed. He's at the 40. Nobody is going to catch him. Devin Turner. 80 yards for the touchdown. Got his guy going to the corner. Gilmer, touchdown Eagles. Quasi Gilmer from J-Vance, 27 yards. So Lopez keeps, swings it out to the side. He's got a guy in an open field. And he breaks the tackle, and he's going to go to the end zone. Shea Gabriel goes the distance.
Give him a pass run option. It's going to be a reverse. A throw to Samanza. It's caught for the touchdown. Reverse pass. Mikey Matthews back to the quarterback in Caden Zamanza. We're tied at 20.